seen through November, and it won't be any surprise to you to learn it's been pretty much a wet November for most of the United Kingdom. For England and Wales, we've had an average of around 144 millimetres of rain. It's been well above average in terms of temperatures, and the fourth wettest November on record. One place in particular, though, has seen some unusually wet weather, and that's the Isle of Man. 211 millimetres of rain in November. That, combined with what we saw through October, gives us over 400 millimetres, the wettest autumn on record for the Isle of Man. 17 inches of rain falling in the last 2 months. For Northern Ireland, it's also been raining here quite steadily over the last month or so, and Belfast has seen 145 millimetres rain, the highest November total since 1949, and now the wettest November on record right across Northern Ireland. Is there more rain? Unfortunately there is. The start of December looks pretty wet for most of the United Kingdom. You can see a curl of cloud on the satellite picture. That's an area of low pressure, and just to the south of that area of low pressure is where the really strongest winds are. We're keeping a close eye on those because already it's started to get quite lively across Northern Ireland, and for the rest of us overnight tonight and into tomorrow. A windy day for tomorrow, still some outbreaks of more persistent rain around the area of low pressure, around the weather fronts. Eventually that moves away, things quieten down a little bit, and then through Tuesday and into Wednesday we find these Atlantic weather systems feeding in further bands of rain. Still quite breezy even as we move into Wednesday. That's about as far as our confidence remains high for, because after that we're still not 100% sure what's going to happen. But what could happen is a ridge of high pressure starts to move in. That's going to dry things out. In the southeast of England we could have quite a strong easterly wind. But for the rest of us, I think with that ridge of high pressure possibly staying into Friday, we have a risk of some overnight frosts and also some mist and fog first thing, but somewhat drier conditions towards the end of the week. For the moment, though, it's wet. There's a fair amount of wet weather around this afternoon, either in the form of showers or more persistent rain, with a top temperature of 11 or 12 degrees. By the time we get to this evening and overnight tonight, the low pressure doesn't really move very much, and just to the south of the low, as I showed you earlier on, the strongest winds. They'll be gusting at gale force, if not severe gale force in a few areas, so we do have a Met Office weather watch of gales and heavy rain. 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds in Wales, Northern Ireland and also the southwest of England, also the far northeast of Scotland, seeing those winds gusting to similar strengths. Lowest temperatures through the night, 6 or 7 degrees, a windy, noisy night to come, and a fairly miserable day through Monday with a lot of wet weather around, and that'll be accompanied by strong and blustery winds. Tuesday the winds ease, there'll still be some showery rain around. That continues through to Thursday, and then as we move into Thursday we find eventually that line of rain out of the way, and that's when we start to see some brighter weather coming through. There will be some mist and fog first thing on Thursday morning. The remnants of that weather front still around in the eastern side of England. Eventually that clears, and by Friday it should be somewhat drier. But watch the forecast because it could change. Bye for now.